Good day, everybody. It's a guy here. Today, I want us to look at something very important. As I always say, if you come into your charts and you don't know exactly what you're looking for, you're simply gambling. You need to know exactly what you're looking for way before you even come to your charts. So, guys, this is going to be a quick one. However, today I'll be focusing more on a strategy for gold because, guys, I gave you two parts of the playbook. You know, when you download, you get two different PDFs. The first PDF is made of strategies for currency. It has two strategies for currencies, and then the second part is for indices. However, there are different kind of trends that work for almost everything, okay? But the one for indices is strictly for indices, okay? So today I'll be focusing more on gold, but guys, I'll just go through yesterday and today because there's something important I want to share with you. As you already know, that we have straightforward rules, okay? We come to our session a few minutes before the session opens, and we ask ourselves some important question. And the first question to ask ourselves is, what type of trend do you see? We come 10 to 5 minutes before the session starts, and the session starts at 9:30 a.m. New York time. Okay, if you're in South Africa, it's 4:30 p.m. Okay, I believe you already know that. So you are coming roughly 10 to 5 minutes before the session opens, and when you come to your chart, this is the first question you ask yourself. Okay, what type of trend do you see? And you already know that if you see any form of a trend, already you know how to actually execute different kinds of trends, because I gave you different kind of trends. And just to re-elaborate, here we have different kind of strategies because each trend has its own type of strategy. Okay, even the explosive, I know you already know them. When you see an explosive trend, you actually execute based on the strategies for explosive trends. Okay, so if there is a trend, you know that, okay, that's a setup that has its own principles and rules. Okay, and everything is outlined here. If it's a normal trend, you know what to do. Okay, but if you are coming to your screen and you don't see any kind of a trend, it's fine, you proceed. This one is the only one, step one, which is in green, because some days you won't be able to identify trade volume before the session. Remember, you're only coming 5 to 10 minutes before the session opens. Let me show you. You are coming somewhere around here, okay? So you have the entire day to yourself. This is where you are coming, and the moment you come here, you ask yourself, who is trapped? Okay, who is trapped? I told you most of the day they're going to trap above or below this red dotted line, which is yesterday's closing price. As you can see, this is where prices closed. The same applies to if I go to the previous day. You're going to see they're mostly going to be consolidating just next to the closing price. Why? Because indices are a group of stocks, and stocks actually opened at 9:30 a.m. New York time. Okay, you see, almost every day, that's what they're gonna do, and that's what we need. Okay, because when we come to our session, we need to know exactly who is trapped. Okay, so obviously, if we are coming on this day like yesterday over here, we know that, okay, when we are coming here, it's not quite clear. Why? Because we are in the middle. There are people up, there are people down. Okay, so we are not actually able to see who's really trapped. Okay, because we are coming somewhere here, and you can see there are people who went up and there are people who sold. Okay, how do I know there are people who sold? I know that's a silly question that people used to ask, but guys, remember, there are millions of people who are active on the charts, and people actually don't know what to do. We know that 90% to 95% of people are actually losing every day. So those are people who chase prices. They chase candles. When candles are going up, they want to enter. When candles are going down, they want to sell. Okay, so there's a lot of activities happening here. That's why there is price movement. If there were no people, there wouldn't be any price movement. Okay, so on this day, we are not able to know who is trapped. And by the way, we had news at around 10 a.m. US time. If you're in South Africa, we had news at 5 p.m. So we wait for the news to actually trade. Okay, we wait for the news to actually trade. Yes, like today we also had news, so we wait for the news. Okay, so I'll be sharing yesterday and today. Okay, let's go back to the rules we have. Okay, fine, we were not able to see who is trapped. Why? Because the session opened in the middle. We go to step 2. We wait for the session to open. If you look at my chart over here, my session is denoted by this pink highlighted box, so I don't do anything until they trade inside this box. And to remind you, we don't trade the first candle. Why? Because it's gonna be a stop hunt. This is when most of the orders are coming into the market. Remember, there are people who place pending orders. There are people who actually trade during the evening when markets have closed. Mostly people who actually trade bigger time frames. Okay, so there's a lot of orders coming in at this minute. That's why most of the time it's going to be a stop hunt, or it's going to be the biggest candle. So you don't take the first candle. Okay, preferably I just wait maybe 5 minutes. Okay, and then step 3 is to identify trap volume during the session. Now this is important. How do you identify this? By a chart pattern. We have different kind of chart patterns. I gave you all the chart patterns you also need in the playbook, but 90% of my executions are based on triangles. There are different kind of triangles. There's a right angle triangle, there is a inverted triangle, there's symmetrical triangle. It doesn't matter what kind of triangle it is, but 90% of my execution are actually based on triangles. Okay, on triangles. So you need to have something like a pattern. It doesn't matter if it's a triangle or if it's a rectangle. Okay, this is important. Okay, when you have something like this, then you know they are trapping inside. Who is trapped, you don't know. Okay, because the insiders are gonna evaluate the number of orders down here, and the number of orders down here, and the number of orders up here, and the number of orders up here. And you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna take the side which is more profitable to them. Okay, so most of the time they can come and pin down and then go and break upwards. So at this moment right here, there's nothing. We know, we don't even have an urge. Okay, which is why we have the following step: wait for the evidence candle. Now guys, this is important. This is the biggest candle that breaks out of the pattern. If this is your pattern, we consider the biggest candle from the last touch down here. If this is a triangle, okay, let's say they break out to the upside, guys, we need, there will be a number of candles here. Okay, so we need this candle that breaks out to be the biggest candle from all the candles from this last touch here. Okay, the same applies to here. If say for instance they break out to the downside, we need a candle that is the biggest candle. This is the candle that must be the breakout candle. It must be the biggest candle from the last touch down here. But sometimes they will give you something different. Okay, let's say they give you something like this. Okay, let me just show you in a minute. And I love this. Okay, I love this a lot. Okay, when it happens I smile. Okay, it's important for you to note this. Sometimes they'll give you something like, oh, okay, let me use this. Okay, sometimes they'll give you something like this. Let's just say this is a rectangle, and then they give you something like this. This is very powerful. I call this thing all eyes on me. Okay, every time I see it I call it all eyes on me. All eyes on, okay, all eyes on me. And the reason I actually call this thing all eyes on me is because it's very powerful. Okay, it's very powerful in nature. This is where they try to send you up, but they don't go all the way up. Why? Because they've already trapped enough people at the top. They don't want to release them. Okay, so what follows now is we are speaking about the evidence candle here. This candle in this case must be the biggest candle from here. Okay, it must be the biggest candle from this last from here. Okay, now we are taking this from here. We are no longer taking it from here, we are taking it from here. Okay, and when you see all eyes on me, this is very powerful. Okay, if they give you something like this, this is a very powerful trade. However, the most important thing is to make sure that this evidence candle is the biggest candle that breaks out. Okay, so the same applies if they give you a triangle. Okay, if they give you a triangle like this, I want to show you something very important. Okay, okay, let's say they give you something. Okay, I just want to change the colors. Okay, let's say this is the triangle. As I'm saying, 90% to 95 of my executions are based on triangles. You see, this is again what I call what all eyes on me. Why do I call this thing all eyes on me? It's because it's highly important. They try to send people up, but they fail. Okay, they fail to go up, so they break up to the downside with a biggest candle. Okay, let's say in this case if they do something like this, now this is the biggest candle that broke out. Okay, mostly I love it if it starts from the inside, but anyway, this must be the biggest candle that break out. This is your execution point. Why? Because we are saying there must be an evidence candle, the biggest candle that breaks out. Not only that, this candle must come at the right time. Okay, I gave you the time somewhere here. I'm only willing to take an execution from 20 past to 40 or from 50 to 10 past, but I like it more when it happens maybe 5 minutes or 5 minutes after. Okay, maybe this is 05 and this is actually 55 and this is 25. If it happens in between here, this is 35. I love it more. Why? Because the main goal is to take a trade near this numbers, near the clock or near the half past mark. This is highly important. Okay, you take it near the half past or near the hour mark. And by the way guys, just to remind you, you only have 3 hours. So guys, in that 3 hours, they are not going to build multiple patterns, okay, and they are not going to give you multiple evidence candles. That's why you should execute when you see it, okay. Okay, now let's go to an example. Okay, to make things easier for you, I gave you this, okay. For those who need the playbook, it's in the description, okay. Look at this guys, I gave you this tick box. It's very important. This is what you're gonna use to evaluate if the trade is ready or not. And guys, please be strict to your rules. If this is not fully met, don't do anything, okay. Don't do anything. Okay, now we're gonna be using this to evaluate our trades. Okay, first of all is the pattern. We're gonna go to our charts. This is today, okay. Obviously I said we were unable to see who is trapped. Actually, let me start from yesterday, because I think yesterday was kind of more interesting. Okay, let's see who is trapped. We are coming somewhere here. Okay, let's see. Okay, who is trapped? We are coming somewhere around here. Okay, obviously we are a little bit in the middle, so we can't tell who is trapped because we are coming 10 to 5 minutes before the session opens, and there were news. So what do we do when there's news? We wait for the news to actually execute. So what is the next step? Obviously the next step now is to wait for the session to open. And what did I say? I said we don't take the first candle, okay, because it's in most cases going to be a stop hunt, okay, because that's when a large number of orders is actually coming to the market. Okay, so there's going to be a hell lot of activities. Okay, I believe by now you all are aware of that. Okay, so what is the next step from here? We need to identify a chart pattern. Okay, we need to identify a chart pattern. Okay, let's see. I'll show you what I was actually seeing yesterday. First of all, it was like this is what I was seeing yesterday. Okay, this is what I actually saw yesterday. So you can see guys, you can see. Okay, this thing struggled. Okay, first of all, okay, let's just go to the tick box. What do we see? A triangle. Okay, we see a triangle. So what are we gonna do? We're just gonna write here that this is, okay, I don't know why this one is not ticking, but anyway, anyhow, we're just gonna write that this is a triangle. Okay, we will fill it here. I think it's not ticking. I don't know why. Okay, I don't know why. But anyway, anyhow, this is a triangle. You feel it here. What is the next step? Is the pattern perfect? I always say for a pattern to be perfect, it needs at least, this is highly important, okay? It needs at least 3 touches up, okay? And 3 touches down. This is 1 down, 1 up, 2 down, 2 up, and then 3 down. So this one has 3 down, but in this case, if they give you what I call all eyes on me, it will have what? It will have 2 touches up. Okay, so this is 1 1. Okay, 1 2 1 2 3. Okay, fine, I made a mistake somewhere here, but it's just a simple mistake, don't worry. This is 1 up, this is 2 up. It has 2, but all eyes on me gives you the 3rd touch. Yes, it doesn't go all the way up, but because this is a special case where they try to send you and they give you this, you're gonna see this more frequently. Okay, you're gonna see this more frequently. Yes, in this case it can have 2. Okay, but I want my patterns to have 1 2. Okay, if they come they have 3, 1 2 3. But if they give you what I call all eyes on me, in most cases you're gonna realize that it has 1 2 up, and this is the last one they use. How are you gonna know? Simply because they will send you up and then they will actually give you the evidence candle. Okay, it's so easy. Okay, so based on our rules, I also have them over here. Okay, I also have them over here. Trap volume, we are unable to see it. Session open, we waited. Chart pattern, we have a triangle. Okay, let's see. Oh, now it's writing triangle. Okay, we have a triangle. Is the pattern perfect? Let's go and see. It needs to have 3 touches down, 3 touches up. Okay, now let's try to count the touches. This is yesterday 1. Okay, 1. Okay, interesting enough. 2. Okay, and then 2. And remember guys, for the touch to be counted, it needs to come here or at least pass halfway. Okay, so we have 2 2, and then we have 3 above. You can see they came here and they touch. So we have 3, and then they come down, we have 3. So this is a perfect pattern. And now the next step obviously is to see the time it took. I'm drawing this one because that's where we're going. It took roughly 220 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna come here. Okay, this is, yes, it's perfect. So the time it took over 1 hour. I always tell you that if it takes over 1 hour, now you can target roughly 100 points, okay? But for S&P, S&P you can target times 2. Why? Because this one is more volatile. It's double volatile as compared to NAS and the Dow. You only target 100 for NAS and the Dow, okay? So it took roughly more than 60 minutes, okay, which is equals to more than 1 hour. So obviously, if everything is met, we're gonna be targeting 100, okay? Now let's see, do we have an evidence candle? Okay, remember, you are using this to judge the type of trade that you see, okay? Do we have an evidence candle? Okay. If you look at this one, it's not fully a breakout candle. Okay, first of all, they broke out here. When they broke out here, this pattern wasn't that much perfect, you see, but we did not have an evidence candle. Okay, they come and break out here again, but you can see this is a bigger candle, but it's still full of doubts. Why? Because we have this party over here, we have this part that broke out over here. So here we were expecting what, something more bigger, okay, but this wasn't much satisfying. Okay, so this is where you have to make your own judgment. When it happens like this, we wait for a retest. Okay, yes, they retested, but even in the retest, we didn't have a candle that was a little better, because let's see, they took forever. First of all, they took forever to reach the high of the first breakout, and they didn't give us a big candle going to the upside. Had they maybe retested and given us a big candle going upside, maybe a candle like this, I would have executed on this. So this one, did it have an evidence candle? Obviously the answer is what? No. Okay, so this failed here. Why? Because we can't come here until this rule is met, and this is the same thing I've been saying here. The only rule we are able to proceed without is this one, but these ones, they are red, simply stating that this is a prerequisite for this one, and this one is a prerequisite for this one, and this one is a prerequisite for this one, and this one is a prerequisite for this one. So guys, it failed here. Okay, when it fails, we don't even go to the next step. And if you go to your charts, guys, you will see that the same thing happened on the Dow and stuff. Okay, so that's why I said yesterday was a bit interesting. Okay, so yes, it did, but it didn't have an evidence candle, so we cannot proceed without something that didn't meet our rules. Okay, just to go quick on this, because I want to focus more on gold. You can see, yes, they broke. We did this together. We couldn't know who was trapped because there were guys up and there were guys down. So we wait for the session. We said we don't take the first candle, right? And then the third option is actually, the third one is actually what? It's actually a chart pattern. Okay, sorry for the advert. The third one is actually what? It's actually a chart pattern. Okay, a chart pattern. Okay, we got a chart pattern. I always told you 90 to 80% of my executions are based on triangle. Okay, so again, if we go to this book over here, you will see, guys, I even in the playbook I gave you all the steps straightforward. You see, even the creeping trend and everything. But guys, look at this. We didn't have a trend. Okay, we didn't have a trend, so we can't be focusing on the creeping trend. Okay, we didn't have a trend, so we can't be focusing on the creeping trend. I just want to go through this very quick. Okay, today we had what? We had a triangle. So again, it's a triangle. Is it perfect? That's the judgment we'll have to make. Okay, they started here, they came down, so obviously this is the first touch, and obviously I'll count this as the first touch, because you can see they tried to go up. That's where I took it from, and this one almost came to the top, so I counted. Why? Because it surpassed midpoint. Okay, I'm gonna give you something important in a minute. Wait. Okay, they came down. Okay, they went up, they came down again. So we have two touches close to each other. We have another touch. Okay, I'm counting this because they came down and then they went up and then exploded to the downside, as you can see. Then we have another touch here. So down already we have 3, which is perfect. Even up we have 3. Then they kept on coming to the opposite end countless times. So guys, it is perfect. We have more than 3. Okay, for visibility, I'm just gonna delete this, because you can see now my chart is becoming clustered, and I usually don't like it when my chart is clustered. Okay, because you can hardly see. Okay, so look at this, guys. What do? They break out. Is this the big candle from this last touch? Obviously yes. Okay, this is the biggest candle. Okay, this is perfect then. Okay, if this is the candle I took. Okay, I took this candle over here. Okay, and then what did they do? They retested. And what did they do after retesting? They gave us another big candle. You see now, this one is big and it closes below this one. So when you're entering again here, you are already in a win. Okay, I don't want to enter before it surpasses the first entry because it will mean I'm adding to a loss. But this is what we need, of which we didn't get yesterday. If we go to yesterday, as I just showed you, we didn't get this. Okay, we didn't get this. You see, I waited for the breakout, but we never got something that was big enough and closed outside. But if you look at today, this was different because you can see they just retested, they never spent time, and then boom, a big candle. And then both these positions actually went to 100. So I always say it's not about the size of it's not about the size of the move, it's also about the quality of the opportunity. Okay, so yes, I love holding till the end, but I actually manage my trade, okay, through I use magic key. Okay, if you need a magic key, if you are using MT405, I have it link in the description. Okay, so look at this, guys, look at this, look at this. Perfect, 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 perfect. It hits your 100, hits your 100, you are done. Okay, and of course, if we were to look over here, it took actually less than 1 hour. So why do I target 100? Obviously because of the volatility of the day. You see, it has already came 217 minutes. This shows you that today is highly volatile, and if a day is volatile like this, you can target 100. By the way, you can do the same for NAS because the same thing actually happened. Okay, the same thing actually happened. Oh, sorry guys, there's something I skipped or missed. Okay, there's something I think I skipped. Okay, what was the time of the breakout? Because this is highly important. Okay, the time of the breakout, if you look down here, this broke is behind in 2 hours, so it's saying 15:20. This was roughly 17:20. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. After the news, okay, beautiful, beautiful. I told you I only take from 20 pause, and if you don't believe this, this is something I've been preaching for the longest time. I'm only willing to take from 20 to 40 or from 50 to 10 pause. Okay, why? Beside, guys, the truth is we only have 3 hours. In 3 hours, they won't give you multiple patterns and multiple evidence candles. Okay, okay, so this was the most perfect move. Okay, and then of course later that's when they reverse, but I'm not going to talk about that. So if you look again at the NAS, they actually did the same thing. Okay, the NAS actually did the very same thing. Okay, so it's up, you can go to the NAS and actually look at it. It did the same thing. Okay, it did the same thing. Okay, okay, this is no, this is the Dow. Okay, you can just go and look at the NAS. But right now I want to talk a little bit about gold. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about gold because most people struggle with gold. So guys, the way to approach gold is very simple, very, very easy. Gold is the most easiest one to actually deal with. Okay, gold is the easiest one to deal with. Why? I love gold during the Asian session, but of course I won't wake up every day for the Asian session, but I love gold during the Asian session. Why? Because during the Asian session they usually give beautiful, beautiful trades, and the trades are actually simple to take. Why? Because you just look for a pattern at the high or the low, and most importantly the closing price. Okay, because this is during the morning, obviously it's going to be near the closing price, and if they closed high enough or low enough, it's going to be the closing price plus the high or the low, as you can see here. So all you need in this case, you just need a pattern. Okay, you just need a pattern to see how it's going, and mostly if you get the most perfect pattern, it's gonna pay like crazy. And again, your stops are a little bit tighter because it's still in the morning. You don't have that crazy volatility, but guys, most of the days that's when the move is actually gonna be starting. Okay, depending on what they are doing. Gold is mostly known for trending. Okay, gold is mostly known for trending, and the patterns I love more for gold is let me just go back and just show you. For gold, I'm talking about gold because there are many people who actually asked about gold. Okay, for gold, I'm going to give you 3 patterns. The first pattern I love for gold is something like this. Okay, and mostly I love it when it retests. Gold is very, very good when it retests. And guys, most of the time, this is going to be on the closing price or on the high or the low, because this is still in the morning. Okay, this is still in the morning. Okay, so mostly they're gonna give you a pattern. Okay, they're gonna give you a pattern. Let's say for instance they can give you something like this. Okay, they can give you something like this. Okay, let me just keep it this color. Let's say for instance guys, they will give you something like a half Batman. This is a half Batman. They break the half Batman, they retest the closing price. Okay, most of the time you'll realize it's gonna be next to the high and next to the opening price, and I mean the closing price. The closing price is the most important one, because that's still in the morning, so it shouldn't be hard for you. Okay, so if they do something like this, I love it a lot. They give you half Batman, break from it and retest. Okay, very important. Okay, I wish I can just move this. Okay, yes, I can move this because I want to use these levels. Okay, I want to maintain these levels. I don't want to keep on drawing. Another pattern I love for gold is actually maybe somewhere where they give you, let's say they can give you a sorry guys, I love you guys. Okay, let's say they give you a W, something like this, and this is a very powerful setup. Okay, they give you a W and then they come and retest, and remember, they come and retest the level and then they give you a big candle going up. Okay, remember, all these things must be of an engulfing candle. We always need an engulfing candle, we always need a big candle, we always need a evidence candle. Okay, so this is a very powerful setup where they give you a double bottom, they leave, they come back and retest. But remember, the most important thing here is a big candle. Okay, remember, that's highly important with gold. Okay, and then again, they can give you like a rectangle, or they can give you a triangle. But the thing here is that most of these patterns will actually be where they will be on the closing price. Okay, remember, I'm talking about the Asian session here. I'm not talking about the US, and I'm not talking about the London, because gold is good during Asia and mostly during US, because it's a stop hunter. During US, they are gonna stop hunt maybe 2 sessions and then go to where the move began, or maybe break out to continue moving. Okay, let's say sometimes they give you something like a rectangle. Okay, most likely it might be a rectangle, but the most important thing I want you to pay close attention to is the levels. They are playing next to the closing, the high or the low. Obviously it's going to be the high or the low depending on how it closed the previous day. Okay, that's highly important. Let's say they give you something like this. It's early in the morning. Okay, and then they break out of it. Mostly they're gonna retest the level and then they are gonna break out with a big candle. Okay, I'll show you a beautiful trade that I took today during the Asian session for gold. Okay, so you see, gold is a little bit different. Even the timings, guys, it's a little bit different. So I'm gonna use the time for indices, I'm not gonna use it for gold. But as for gold, mostly it's gonna be from 3:30. If you're in South Africa, it's 3:30. I believe in US it's roughly, I mean, yeah, it's 9:30 it's 9:30 p.m. and 9:30 a.m. Yes, 9:30 p.m. and 9:30 a.m. Okay, I believe I'm not making a mistake. Okay, it's 9:30. Mostly this move happened at 9:30. Okay, 9:30 New York time. It's p.m. again at a.m. because I believe 9:30 a.m. is yes, if I'm not confusing the time, because here in South Africa it's roughly from 3 a.m. to, actually let's say start looking at 8:30 and even here, yes, 8:30 a.m. or 8:30 p.m. Look at these times, that's when gold will be doing this. But I obviously like it during this time over here in New York. Why? Because here it's actually Asian session. So look from 8:30, that's mostly when they will start doing this. Okay, 8:30 a.m. okay, it's 8:30 New York time. Okay, New York time. I love the a.m. The p.m. time, because here in South Africa it's actually 3:30 a.m. in the morning. That's during the Asian session. Okay, Yes, that's before the Asian session. Obviously, it's 1 hour before the Asian session opens. Okay, so I believe you understand these things. This is when I love gold the most. So I'm just gonna go to the charts and run through this quite quick. I gave you these three powerful patterns, but anyway, even the triangle, it just depends on here. The most important thing is the closing price. Remember, the closing price is the main thing here. Okay, the closing price. Okay, if you look at this is where they gave you half Batman. They go up, they consolidate. Remember, big moves will always come after consolidation. That's something Larry Williams loves a lot. If you read his there's a book called uh, long-term secret to short-term trading. If you can get that book, please do. Okay, that is a very, very strong book. As you can see, they consolidate, and this is where they are going, and then they give you a big candle over here. And if you look at it, this is still in the morning, so sometimes you might fear this candle, but it's only 17 pips. And if you are to put your 25 pips, it's maybe somewhere around here. Okay, but you can see this is how this one goes most of the time. It goes in Asia. They built a pattern on the closing price, and that's where they engulf against the closing price. You see, they're engulfing down, but they're engulfing against the closing price. Let's go to the next day. Okay, I want to show you these things. I love it during the Asian session. Okay, and then if you look, they close down. Okay, look at what they do. I told you it's going to be next to the high or the low, depending on where they closed. Okay, because if they close high, it's going to be next to the closing price and the high, but if they close low, it's going to be next to the closing price and the low. Okay, so this is where they give you half Batman again. Most of the times it's going to be half Batman. Why? I don't know. Okay, this is very early in the morning. Let's look at the time for this one, but it's mostly gonna be around this times. But I'm not saying I take it between which times and which time. You see, this is 2:30 a.m. Okay, it's fine in South Africa. Okay, but it's gonna be around this times, guys. It's gonna be around this times. You see, again 2:20 a.m. Okay, so this actually happens before. I said 8 I said what? Okay, I said 8:30, but this one is happening roughly at 7:30. Okay, you see half Batman, they consolidate. They are consolidating on the closing price. Guys, remember, it's not always gonna be like this, but most of the time it's gonna be like this. Okay, if it's not like this, do nothing, because people have a tendency. Sometimes they're just going, they're coming, they're doing whatever they're doing, and you want to take it just because it's on the closing price. No, you need the pattern. You still need the pattern. Okay, you need the patterns I've just drew for you during the Asian session. Okay, and then it goes. During Asia, you can take 50 or 100. Most of the time it's going to go 50, but most of the time, depending on the day, it is going to reach 100. As you can see, this one went 170. Okay, 170. Let's go to the next day. I just want to show you this thing so that you can start understanding them. Okay, you see, some days they're gonna do like this. There's nothing for you to take. They didn't give you a pattern. Okay, you see, some days they're gonna do like this. So guys, don't say because he said this and this and that. No, some days they're not gonna give you what you want, even though even here you can still see a pattern. Okay, even though here you can still let's say this. Okay, you can still see a pattern, but when it's like this, I don't want you to focus on it, because you can see again it's just they're engulfing the closing price. But we want to focus more on Asia. Okay, we want to focus more on Asia, because Asia is a very profitable session. Okay, you see again, pay close attention to the closing price. They give you something like this. Okay, pay close attention to the pattern and the closing price. Okay, yes, of course you won't know what time it comes, but it's gonna be in the early hours. Okay, you see this is a rectangle. Actually, that's where it started, and this is again still the same rectangle. You see, still the same rectangle, and then this is not what we take. You see, they break out with a huge candle over here. Okay, so this one, yes, it's still 20. Your 25 is actually somewhere here. You see, and most of the time they will go 100. This is 100 and something. You see, 100 and something, depending again on the. Okay, let's see right now what they do again. You're gonna get this thing. This is an inverted triangle, but the most important thing here, as I said, is the closing price. What do they do to the closing price? Okay, This red dotted line is a free indicator in my description. Okay, you see, this is what they do to the closing price. It's still early in Asia. This is what we need, guys. You see, they are engulfing. Our main objective is to get this engulfment. If you don't get it, you get small candles like this. You can't force it. Okay, stop forcing things, just as we went through yesterday. My main objective for going through yesterday was actually to show that sometimes you're not gonna get the candle you are looking for, so it fails if you don't get the candle you are looking for. But at the end of the day, guys, from Asia, they are gonna go roughly 100. You see, they went 200. Okay, they went 200. Asia is a very profitable session if you really pay close attention to it. Okay, I want to show you even here. It's the same thing. What do they do to the closing price? Okay, what are they doing to the closing price? Obviously, not every day they're gonna do the same. Okay, and sometimes you'll take it when it's presented in a very perfect manner and you lose it. It's not about losing, it's about the setup. Is it there? You see, this is the same thing, engulfing candle in Asia. You see the time. The times are mostly this broker is behind in 2 hours. Let's say 2:30 if you are in South Africa. Yes, 2:30 if you are in South Africa. Okay, you can see the times, but for me it's, yes, this is an hour, 2 hours before the session starts. Okay, but usually I just love coming roughly around 3 a.m. in South African time. Okay, so you see they will go 100. This is 160. Is this gonna happen every time? No, but when it happens, you just have to take advantage of it. Okay, unfortunately you wouldn't be here to add. Okay, but this is it. This is roughly a triangle. Sorry guys, this is okay. It's not a perfect triangle though. It's not a perfect one, but again, it's a triangle for a continuation pattern. But I wouldn't advise trying to do this. Okay, and then they give you a super big candle. But anyway, anyhow, gold moves well during the Asian session. Okay, you just pay close attention to the closing price. As you can see, this was a, okay, let's look at this again. You get your triangle again. This is the one I actually took today. I didn't take it here. Okay, why? Because mostly I love the ones that either break out with a big candle, but you can see this is a very big pattern. They can break out and retest already. They can come and retest the closing price. So I waited for them. I waited for them to retest, and this is what I did. As they retested, I waited. They gave me this. I waited. Okay, I waited, and then this is eventually what they gave me. They gave me a super big candle. Okay, so this is the candle I actually took. Okay, this is the candle I actually took during the Asian session. And guys, you will see this candle just look big, but they are not big. You see 12 pip. Where is your 25? If you are using 25, it's back on the closing price. Okay, and this one went 50, but most of the days they will go 100 pips. Okay, so again, we will be waiting to see what happens. Okay, today in Asian session. Okay, so because anyway, anyhow, they're gonna give the same behavior next to the closing price. Okay, if my volume is low, it's midnight, guys. Okay, it's midnight, 12 a.m., so I can't be making noise. But you see this one, obviously this one, the pattern is too big. Even if they break out on moves like this, you just want to see something like a retest. Okay, but I've given you a number of days. Yes, there is a day out of this day when they didn't behave in that manner, but most of the days they do. I told you I wait for a retest, but look at this candle. It's too perfect to wait for a retest, right? It's too perfect. Why? Because you see this is the consolidation and this is the immediate break. Okay, okay, but today I waited for the retest because I showed you that, you see, this one is also too perfect. Small candles, and this is the very big candle that breaks out. You see, so guys, it's gonna be almost the same thing over and over again. Asia, you see, this one wasn't a perfect one, but when this one closes, this is where most people think they've missed the move, and that's the kind of feeling I need. The moment people think they missed the move, that's why I know it's my time to enter. Why? Because they want you to feel like you missed the move. So for those who will love waking up midnight, because the Asian session is not conducive for everybody. Again, it depends on where you are located. Okay, for me it comes 3 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, I think sometimes I prefer waking up at this time, okay, during London, and I do nothing. Okay, but this is the simplest way to actually execute what? Gold. You play around the closing price. Play around the closing price. that's where it's gonna give you the best entry. Okay, and most of the days it's gonna go 100. However, many of the days it's gonna go 50. So you need it, if it depends on you. If you need a high win rate, you can focus on 50. But if you don't mind losing some other days, okay, because some days can go to 50 and then like it did today, it went 50 and then it came back. So yeah, again, it's up to you. Okay, because being profitable is not always about the high win rate. Okay, it's about, if you're winning, you are winning big. It's about the risk reward ratio. So guys, I did give you something based on gold, but it happens mostly in the Asian session. And if you are new, kindly hit the subscription button. I really appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful day and a blessed one. Thank you.